there, it's BRB of BRBTV at the Mid-Atlantic Nostalgia Con. You know, I do a lot of these shows, and usually I'm walking around talking to actors, but in this show, I got to talk to a couple fellow writers, and it was very interesting. Check out this interview with James Rosin, who has a unique experience. He's written about TV, and he starred on TV. So check this out. All right, I'm talking now to Mr. James Rosin, and he has a unique experience because he is a writer. Hello there, James.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. He has written about TV shows like Peyton Place, Wagon Train, The Streets of San Francisco, but he also has appeared on TV shows as an actor. I think that's such an interesting combination. So tell me, what different TV shows have you done some roles on?
Well, the first show that I did was an episode of a TV series called Love American Style, which used to come on Friday nights, and it was vignettes. Sometimes there were two 30-minute episodes, sometimes four 14-minute episodes about love and relationships. It was on ABC for 5 years. I did an episode with Phyllis Diller and Tom Bosley, who played a young lawyer. It was the first one. And then I went on and did shows like Mannix with Mike Connors, Adam 12 with Marty Milner, who just sadly passed away, and Ken McCord. I did a few of those. I did a few Mannixes. I did Banachek with George Papard. Cannon, that was a show, a Quinn Martin show with William Conrad. I did a few mini-series at Universal. I had a very long association with Quincy. I did 6 of those as an actor. I did 3 or 4 of them as a writer. I wrote a couple with Jack Klugman.
Is that how your writing career began, as writing for television?
Yeah, it started there.
And then you branched off into writing about television, huh?
Yeah, after I went on and did a bunch more shows, and then I was also living in New York doing plays off of Broadway and Summerstock, and wrote for some of the soaps as well as for Quincy. But ultimately, I got away from the business, and I began writing books on classic TV shows. And my first was Route 66, which is right here.
Yep.
There's no books on the table. I sold out of them.
Oh, great.
And then Naked City.
Okay.
They were written by the same company. And I went on to do some of the books you see here, and then a book on Quincy. And I did 8 all told.
Okay, so as far as Quincy, and I used to watch that show, I love that show. You appeared on episodes, you wrote some episodes,
yes,
and you wrote a book about the show.
Yeah.
Wow.
A publisher approached
really
me, and
I
said I'm too familiar with the show.
You felt you were too close to the subject matter?
Well, in a way, or I wasn't that interested. And then,
wow.
And then he said, well, okay. Then he said, well, I've got somebody, if you're not interested in England, who wants to do a book on Quincy. And I said, oh, be my guest. And then a year later, I saw him again at one of these events, and he said the writer in England decided he wasn't going to follow through. It was too much of a project for him. You sure you don't want to do it? So I said, okay. So I had access to everybody. I could pick up the phone. I could call Jack, Anita Gillette, Robert Ito, who played Jack's assistant in the laboratory, Sam Fujiyama, Val Basolia, who was Danny, had the restaurant, Gary Wahlberg, Joe Roman, the 2 police officers. So I really, knew everybody and had access to them, and also some of the directors, and some of the producers, and it turned out to be an enjoyable project for me. So I did it, and they published it, and Jack was pleased with it, and it turned out to be the right thing to do.
Cool. Now talk to me about how you approach the books that you write about TV shows, like how you set out to do your research, maybe what format and structure you use to cover a TV show.
All my books are basically the same. I start with a narrative of the show intertwined with commentary from the actors the directors, the writers, the producers, other assorted behind-the-scenes personnel. Then I get into a photo section. I have a lot of screen captures and publicity photos from various episodes. Then I list then I do an episode guide where I list the summary of the plot and the director and the writer and the cast, the guest cast. And then some of the books I have miscellaneous facts that people might find interesting about the show that they might not ordinarily be aware of or find out about. And then I have a biography section of all the people that are in the book that are involved with the show. Now, Peyton Place, I could not do an episode by episode summation. So with this book, instead of the episode guide, I did a summary of each season, 12, 13, 14 pages, like a mini novel of a storyline of each season, because they ran continuously, I should say. They never went into reruns.
Yeah.
But there was a season that roughly went from September to September. So I broke it down that way, and I did the 5-season storyline.
Okay.
And it turned out well. People really liked it because it was easy to read.
Now, in the course of your research for these different TV shows, have you found a challenge in trying to track down cast members or fellow writers or crew members?
Sometimes.
I mean, who's the hardest to reach?
Sometimes it was difficult. Sometimes actors did not remember anything. Sometimes their actors had vivid memories.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is when you watch the shows and you see them, especially now they're digitally remastered, it's like you're right there. It's like it was yesterday. And then you don't stop to realize, wait a minute, this is 30, 40, 45 years ago. A lot of water under the bridge since then. So when you approach certain people, especially actors that may have done multiple guest shots on the show, they still don't remember a whole lot. So it's hit or miss with people as far as their memory. Some have very good recall, others have almost no recollection.
Yeah.
But I was lucky.
Right.
I was fortunate, in Quincy, on Route 66, George Maharis has great, terrific memory. So did some of the directors I interviewed. On Wagon Train, Bob Horton had a very good memory of what took place. Bob Fuller, Denny Miller, people like that. Some of the guest cast, Deborah Paget, Donna Winter, different people that I interviewed that did multiple guest shots. Some of the recall was very good, which benefited me. Sadly, some of the other shows, a lot of the people are gone. They're not here anymore.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit hard
the older the show and more challenging
to write
it
about,
is,
because
right.
if the lead actor in the show is no longer around,
Right.
there's a void.
Yeah.
But I would try to make up for it in other ways.
Yeah. Are you researching any TV shows now? Do you have another project in the works?
No. I did 8 books on classic TV. Then I did the last one was The Streets of San Francisco. Now there was an example. Carl Malden was going, but Michael Douglas was very helpful to me.
Oh, good.
And then Richard Hatch, who was there the last season when Michael left to start a movie career, he was helpful. And then a lot of the directors that I interviewed were very, very helpful. Some of the writers, John Wilder, who produced The Streets of San Francisco for I think 3 seasons. He was very helpful to me. So you make up for it, as I said, in certain ways when someone you go to for a reference is sadly no longer with us.
Yeah.
No, I haven't done any book. The last book I did was on Philadelphia music history, Philly, pop, rock, rhythm, and blues. I did a book about really all the goings on in Philly from the 1950s through the 1970s in terms of rock and roll, R&B, pop, all about Bandstand with Bob Horn, American Bandstand with Dick Clark, and all of the nationally known recording artists that came out of Philly, as well as the local and regional artists. And it encompassed the golden years of rock and roll and also the era of Gamble and Huff and Tom Bell, which came to be known as the sound of Philadelphia in the 70s and early 80s. And the disco era. So I captured, I thought, the three most important decades. But it was amazing how many entertainers came out of South Philadelphia, Southwest Philadelphia, and so many of them were very happy to revisit the glory days, you know? So that was my last book. Now I'm working on a screenplay about Charlie Gracie, who was one of the first superstars to come out of Philly. And he has a very interesting story. And it's called Boogie Woogie Blues, the Charlie Gracie story. It's based on his book, Rock and Roll's Hidden Giant, the Charlie Gracie story. So I'm hoping we'll get it into the hands of the right person who wants to make a movie of it.
Cool.
And that's basically what I've been up to.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me, and best wishes to you with that screenplay and
thank
with
you
your
very
career.
much.
Okay.
Very happy to converse with you.
Okay.